Estamos aqui hoje com o Sebastian Selba, da Selba Oster, para uma entrevista contando um pouco sobre a história dessa vinícola no Moselle. Sebastian, first thing, thanks to be with us and for your time here. As you said, when we are coming here, it's the first time we are in Brazil.
Yes.
I would like to start first thing with a little bit of the history of your family and the winery in Moselle that goes back to 17th century.
17th century, correct. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about this short history. just kidding.
Yeah, thank you, Arnaldo. It's my first time being in Brazil. I'm really excited to be here and to interact with the customers at the fair. So my name is Sebastian Selbach. I'm the 13th generation now. We are a small family estate based in Zeltingen in the Mosel. Dating back into the 17th century, actually to be more precise, the first mention of a Selbach was in 1600.
Wow.
So when you look into the church books, you can really track back my family tree. They were always involved either in viticulture or in wine trade.
Wow.
And so this is, yes, so long history. We are, as you can see, maybe the viewers can see here, so that is my hometown, Zeltingen.
We can put it also there in the video.
And it's a small town, just 2,000 inhabitants. We produce 23 hectares.
23.
90% which is Riesling, around 5% of Pinot Noir and 5% of Pinot Blanc, what we call Spätburgunder or Weißburgunder. And made, so the wines come from steep slopes. You can imagine it's like the Mosel Valley is quite narrow. It's almost like a canyon. And on the, especially the south-facing slope, you will find the vineyards. The base rock that you find in the Mosel is blue Devonian slate, schist. So this was formed over 370 million years ago, when Central Europe used to be below sea level.
You are based on the city is called Zeltingen.
Exactly, Zeltingen. It's an old town, actually dates back to pre-Roman times. So our area was inhabited by a Celtic tribe, and supposedly the name Zeltingen comes from that time. Wow. So then the Romans, when they conquered Julius Caesar, when he conquered most of which is today France, he went all the way until the Rhine River, and we became part of the Roman Empire. And the Roman, especially the legionaries, the army, they discovered that the steep slopes were really suitable to grow wine back then, because before that they had to import wine from the south. And so that's how it actually started. So we have a 2,000-year-old tradition in the region, which is the oldest in Germany when it comes to a wine region.
Wow. And I read about your the winery and your family that you have also a distribution business.
Yes.
And how does it work?
Exactly. Actually, when you look at just to give you a small background, so this is our label. It says Selbach Oster. So my last name is Selbach. And Oster, you might wonder what's Oster like. So Oster was my great-grandmother's maiden name. And when she married my great-grandfather in 1920, both families came together. So the Oster side, they had most of the vineyards, whereas the Selbach side was more involved in the wine trade. So that's why still nowadays we have pretty much two branches side by side. One is, for instance, now we have today Selbach Oster here. These are all from our own estate grown fruit from our own vineyards. We have another lineup called just Selbach. And this is from grapes we purchase from growers where we have long-term contracts with.
Okay.
So even over generations, where we source the grapes or get the grapes every year during harvest time.
Wow. Now, let's just talk a little bit about you.
Yes.
How you started the wine business, with your family, how you got this passion.
Yes. Well, if you grow up in a wine region and like I said, we're a family business, you get into contact with wine at a very early age. You know, legal drinking age in Germany for wine is 16. But you earlier try some wine, of course. I always like to try new things in terms of sensation, you know, sensual sensation, whether it be different types of food, even when I was young. And I always wanted to try new things. And then pretty much it was during, I would say, high school, I really started to get more interested in viticulture. We're still working also at home in like summer holidays, for instance, or during harvest time after school. And so that led me to do an apprenticeship after high school. That's quite common in Germany to do apprenticeship. So that's 2 or 3 years. So my first year of apprenticeship, I went to Dönhoff. Dönhoff is a estate in the Nahe region, which is 1 hour south of the Mosel. And the second year I went to the Pfalz, to Weingut Müller-Cartois in Neustadt. So 2 different regions because I wanted to broaden my horizon and learn about new techniques, also new grape varieties. Because the Mosel, as you know, it's at least 60% is blended with Riesling. And we don't have the variety of grape varieties in the Mosel as, for instance, in the Nahe Pfalz. For instance, in the Pfalz, I actually came into contact with Spätburgunder or Pinot Noir firsthand, because back then we didn't make any. That has changed now. And this was really helpful for, how should I say, to get more experienced. Then I actually pursued something else. I went to university to study business administration in Regensburg, which is 1 hour north of Munich. But then prior to going home, I went to Geisenheim University, which is the university in Germany for viticulture, for enology. And there where I also did another bachelor's degree and made contacts. And after that, I went and did 2 harvests. One was in Alto Adige at Hofstetter in Tramin, where they're famous for their Pinot Noir and also Gewürztraminer. And it was really a nice region. And then I went, because I never went to the Southern Hemisphere before, to Australia, to the Clare Valley, to Jim Barry's, which was a little bit culture shock. I arrived actually in January of 2019 there. We had snow at home and there was 40 centigrade. So very different. Very hot. That's interesting because they were telling me about like the cool climate of Australia, but it's actually like an outback, like a desert. So it's very different from the cool climate we have in the
cool
Mosel.
that you are used to.
Yes. And so after that, since July of 2019, I'm back at home. Yes. And well, talking about cool climate, the thing is about the Mosel, we are one of the most northern wine growing regions. We are on the 50th latitude. If you draw a line west to the Americas, we would be in Canada.
Wow.
Right, like Winnipeg, Saskatchewan, that area, but completely different climate. Because we, like most of Europe, we benefit from the Gulf Stream. You know, the winters are not as cold, as harsh. We get some maritime climate, so a lot of weather that we get comes from the west, from the Atlantic Ocean, from the North Sea.
Yeah.
So it's quite mild nowadays. We get maybe 3-4 days of snow in the valley, in the Mosel Valley. So yes, there has been change also in global warming, climate change. So for instance, we used to do ice wine, which now it's really hard to make. The last time we made ice wine was in 2016, actually.
Wow.
Yes, so it has changed, but I can say that for our region, we until now have benefited from global warming, especially when it comes to the dry styles. For a long time, the Mosel was mostly known for the off-dry wines. For Cabernet, for instance, or Spätlese for those predicate levels, but the region really makes really good dry Riesling. Yes, this has changed, and then, like I said, we make some Spätburgunder Pinot Noir as well, which really is now an evolving grape variety.
And how's to be at the winery nowadays and alongside with your parents? I remember we interviewed your mother, Barbara.
Yes.
Long time ago. It was we are at the edition 230 something, and it was 90. And so it was a long time ago when we were just discussing the difficulties of understanding German labels at the time. Not that improved a lot. It's not that simple because of the German language, but nowadays it's much more simple, simple than it was before. But how is that? What's your role at the winery nowadays?
I do a little bit of everything. To be honest. Well, it depends also on the season, of course. Now, as you see, I'm in Brazil now, so do a lot of sales. We are quite export oriented. 75 to 80% goes into the export. But for instance, during harvest time, September, October, I'm in the cellar and vineyard, making decisions. That's the most important time of the year. You have to make sure that you achieve the good quality. Thankfully, we have a really good team. Without the people, you can try to do as good, but you have to have really committed employees, and we are really glad that we have them.
How many people work in that?
It's with the family, included family. So my parents are still involved. My mother you met, and then we are in total 15. Yes.
Wow.
Not too big.
No, not too big.
Yes.
We were talking about before we started. We were talking about the vineyards there, and we'll go back to that. You cultivate vineyards on the most famous slopes there, and between Zeltinger and what's the name of the
between Zeltingen and Bernkastel.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I would like to talk about as we are talking about the influence of the Devonian terroir at the wines, and also we can just start talking about a little bit of the sequence of the wines that we're having, that we
Yes.
have here, if you can.
Sure. So the terroir is Blue Devonian slate. It's a soil that is quite low with the pH level. So it's quite an acidic soil.
Yep.
Riesling by nature also brings high levels of acidity with it. So in general, you can say you get some citrus, some apple with Riesling, but the terroir, of course, in the microclimate also plays a big difference, or makes a big difference. Mosel Riesling, to describe Mosel Riesling, is you always get that Flintstone character, a lot of herbaceousness, herbal notes. We ferment, for instance, most of our wines, over 90% with the Selber Oster line up with natural yeast. So spontaneous fermentation. So where we don't add any cultural yeast. So which makes the wines very complex. We ferment them either in stainless steel or in used Fuder barrel. So Fuder is really a typical cask size in the Mosel, whereas in other regions of Germany you find the Stückfass, which is oval in shape and contains about 1,200 liters. The Fuder is around 1,000 liters in size.
Yes.
And we still have actually one barrel, which is from my great-grandfather. His name was Matthias Oster, from the Oster side of the family. And he used to be a cooper, barrel maker. So we still have one barrel in use until today. So we ferment in both stainless steel and Fuder barrel. Then after the fermentation, especially with the dry wines, they sit on the full lees for up to 6 months, or in some cases up to 1 year, depending on how slow the fermentation is progressing. And we don't fine.
Okay.
So it's very hands-off. So the most work is done in the vineyard. It's I know with red wine you do much more in the cellar, depending on how long you keep the grapes on the skins, for instance. If you do punch downs, for white wine it's easier, so to speak. The work in the cellar is easier than, for instance, with when you want to do red wines. You have much more means of working with it. And so we start to release the new vintage with the entry level. It's mostly in April of the following year.
Okay.
And then some wines in summertime, September. So now getting to the labels, to the wines. We have 5 wines right here to show you. To the left, that's our entry level dry Riesling, Riesling Trocken. So Trocken is the German word for dry.
Right.
In order to be able to put Trocken on the label, it has to be between 0 and 9 grams of residual sugar per liter. That is, so when you see that Trocken, you can see it's a dry wine. The next one is now one step up in complexity. It's also, as you can see, it says Trocken in the label as well. So, but then you get additional information. You see, the first word is Zeltinger. Zelting is the town where it's coming from. And Riesling, of course, that's the grape variety. And Kabinett, so now that's the thing. Kabinett is, so we in Germany have a maybe different system than most of other wine-growing countries in Europe. We have classification also based on the level of ripeness. So Kabinett, I would translate, or you could say it's like an early harvest.
Yeah.
So the grapes are ripe, but not fully or not overly ripe. They are ripe, and you have lower levels of alcohol, for instance. But you can make it off dry. You can make it medium dry, and in this case also dry. So Cabernet doesn't mean whether it's sweet or dry. It just means
it's not about here in Brazil. Some people think it's about residual sugar. It's not about residual sugar. It's about ripeness.
Exactly. It's about what the sugar content at harvest time.
Harvest time, not at the bottle.
Exactly. Yes, that is what a lot of people confuse. I can say not only in Brazil, but it's even sometimes in domestic market in Germany. So,
okay.
Yes. So the next one is something special. Actually, we are the only one making it. It's what the French would call lieu-dit. It's a single parcel in the Schlossberg. So that's the Schlossberg.
Yeah.
That's a single vineyard. And this one is the Böhmer.
The parcel and the Schlossberg vineyard.
Yes. And the Böhmer is just this parcel here in the Böhmer. And it really, that's our best piece in the Schlossberg side. So this area of the Schlossberg is south facing.
Yeah.
And you can see here, it's just above the houses, above the village.
Yeah.
So actually also the rooftops are made of slate stone, the tiles. So what does this mean? It means that over daytime in summer or on harvest time, the rooftops will heat up and will reflect the heat overnight. Wow. So it's like a greenhouse. It can get quite warm in there. And we make just one barrel, so 1,300 bottles. It's always a dry style, spontaneous fermentation, really long time on the lees. For instance, vintage 18 and 19, it took over 1 year to become dry. Wow. This is now vintage 21, 21 cool classic vintage. We didn't start picking Riesling until the 5th of October and finish on around the 6th of November. So cool vintage, good acidity, really complex wine. Perfect with, maybe I will go over that and then maybe food pairing is a thing.
We can.
Yes. Next one, also something special. This is from Zeltinger Sonnenuhr. So the Zeltinger Sonnenuhr is the most famous site of Zelting. It's unlike Himmelreich or Schlossberg, where you have a change in sun exposure. Here it's one south-facing slope, really steep, more loose slate stone, and you have also the effect of the Mosel River, which is down here. Yeah. You get a little bit more humidity. This is, we call MCM. It's Roman letters for 1900. And it is a Riesling Feinherb. So Feinherb is also level of sweetness, so to speak. So we stop the fermentation a little bit earlier to preserve the natural residual sugar. As always, it's natural residual sugar that you have. And we stopped it by cooling down the barrel. Okay. So, and then it says uralte Reben. Alte Reben means old wines in German. And Ur is like very ancient wines. This comes from a parcel that was planted in 1910. So it's here in this area of the Zeltinger Sonnenuhr, still planted with old ungrafted vines. Wow. So pre-phylloxera, rootstock, very low yields.
More than 100 years.
Yes, very low yields, often just 3 bunches per vine. Small bunches, small berries, not much water in them, but thick skins, very aromatic. And this is really a special wine. The next one, as you can see, it's Zeltinger Sonnenuhr from the same vineyard side, but this is now Auslese, 2 star. So Auslese is when you have to imagine like the qualification system based on the levels of ripeness, like a pyramid.
Yep.
You have at the base, you have Qualitätswein, then you have like the first one, then you have the Kabinett, like early harvest, then you have Spätlese, which we don't have here now.
Yeah, but there's
actually, this is Spätlese, considered Spätlese, or you could call it also Auslese, even in terms of ripeness, and this is Auslese. And so this was harvested at higher level of ripeness at harvest time. The potential of also alcohol is higher for Auslese than it's for Kabinett because with Kabinett grapes you have lower must weight than with Auslese. 17 was also a warm vintage, but with good acidity. This is 2-star. So for us, it is like an internal classification. It's like Auslese plus plus. So it's Auslese in this case that has seen some botrytis. Coming back to the vineyard side here to the Zeltinger Sonnenuhr. For the Auslese 2-star, we harvest that from the lower part of the slope. The reason is we get, during harvest time, we get a lot of morning mist, morning fog. It often stays until midday or even longer. So a lot of moisture, humidity, and this really benefits development of botrytis. This is also, in terms of residual sugar, has more sweetness. And looking at the alcohol, it's just 8.5%.
Wow.
That is something I didn't talk yet about. That's also, how should I say, a deal breaker or something that's very special about German Riesling, that we still make great wines with lower alcohol levels. People nowadays, I don't know about Brazil, people are more health conscious. They're looking for a little bit lighter options in terms of alcohol. And this is natural product. You know, we don't wait too long to get to potentially 13.5%, 14%, but we harvest them at the optimum ripeness. So they're fully ripe, but not overripe. And so you're looking at here, so it's 8.5% for the Auslese.
Wow.
For the Alte Reben, it's 11.5. For the Böhmer, it's also 11.5. Yes.
Here, 11 and then 12.
12. So as you can see, we try not to get over 12.5% alcohol.
Wow.
So you get a lot of flavor, a lot of, how should I say, complexity without huge alcohol.
Opulence.
Yes.
And we are talking about the old vines. Which are the oldest you have there?
The oldest one is, like I said, they are from this
For
parcel.
this parcel?
Yes, in the Zeltinger Sonnenuhr, planted in 1910.
1910.
Yes.
Wow. This is. Let me just get back to my.
So maybe about the viticulture. So we have a traditional system which is still present in some parts of the vineyards, which is like the system that the Romans introduced, which we call single poles or single post system. It's very much you have a wooden post and the vine is trained up. And it's we do, when we prune, we do a hard shape. So 2 canes fixed together. That's very typical for our area, for the Mosel. And traditionally, the parcels were very densely planted. So you would be looking at 10,000 vines per hectare, or even higher than that. This has changed nowadays for the most parts. Now where you have road access, we are using, for the most part, like the Guyot style, with rows. But still in the old parcels, like with the Alte Reben, we have still the old system. Yes.
Wow. And it's, we can say this is an extreme, almost an extreme culture, because you have some 55 degrees or more in
Yes,
some parts
exactly.
of the.
It's like climbing. It's like mountain
Yeah, it's
climbing, hiking,
hiking.
climbing almost. Yes. Hey, I mean, when you work in the vineyards during summertime or during harvest time, you don't need to work out.
That's nice, huh?
It's good. You get the workout for free.
Yeah. Get your shape of
Yes.
without doing more than this. As you said, do you only use wild yeast for the, or do you have
Not exclusively for the most part. We use it. For instance, for the first wine
Okay.
we use also cultured yeast. But for Selber Roster, it's over 90%. It's spontaneous fermentation.
spontaneous fermentation with, and also, as you said, with a minimal approach of the on the viticulture. Let's see. You practice Selber Oster practice organic and viticulture, isn't it?
We are not
No.
certified. We do a sustainable farming.
Sustainable.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we don't use any herbicides, for instance, but we don't have organic certification.
No.
Yes.
Okay. We are talking about, as you said, the climate changes. How have these been affecting your area during the latest years?
Yes. So it really has changed. If I remember when I was a kid in elementary school, like 25 years ago, we still had, I can remember we didn't start in September. We always started in October.
Wow.
Always. And we always harvested into November. And if you go further back, and I would ask my father, in the 80s, they didn't start before mid-October and would harvest into mid-September. So you often had, in the early morning, you had sometimes almost frost. It was really cold in the morning. This has changed now due to global warming. We start already in September also with Riesling. Beside 21, which was an exception now, we start normally for Riesling around the third week of September.
Wow.
Normally finish by third week of October, last week of October, maybe beginning of November when it's a very long harvest. So there's a shift in starting of the harvest for sure. And then also the years, how should I say, the weather has become a little bit more extreme, the weather conditions. We have more sometimes drier periods during summer times, then sometimes really heavy rainfall, which was not that common. 25 years, yes, it happened, but you can still feel the effect. That also means that we have changed a little bit in terms of foliage management.
Okay.
For instance, de-leafing the grape zone at the right time, and also to prevent the wine to get sunburn, for instance. But overall, the quality has improved. If you look at the region as a whole, also at Germany as a whole, there are no more unripe vintages anymore. The last, how should I say, cool vintage was 1988. In the 90s, there were some cooler vintages, but ever since, it's really, yes, there was no problem. So the issue is not to get ripeness, but now we have to be careful to not get over-ripeness. That's the challenge. Especially with some style like this, the Cabernet.
Okay.
Cabernet lives off its light body, and often the time window has shrunk to achieve that style, or to make that style. Because if you wait too long, you get Spätlese level of ripeness and then no more Cabernet. You know, and often in some warmer years that can be only 6 days, you know, for instance, or 7 days. So that's a change.
So
you have to really rethink.
Okay, so you start from Trocken to Auslese sometime.
Yeah, for sure, yes. It can happen, yes. Depending on the vineyard, for sure. I mean, you have, so the lower you go on the slope, the warmer it's getting. Also, of course, south-facing slopes are the warmest. And for instance, the Cabernet wines we harvest from either the upper part of the hill or from the side valleys, where it's a little bit cooler. Yes.
Yeah. And as a new generation, you are the 13th? 13th. Yes. What kind of innovations do you think you are bringing? I saw you make a patina.
Yes. Yes, that is a more recent thing. Actually, that was by customer request from the US.
Okay.
That's why we started it. It's really well achieved. We make some, I didn't mention that, a little bit of Gewürztraminer.
Oh yeah. I also read about the Gewürztraminer.
It's here in the Ziltinger Himmelreich. We planted it in 2013. It's a personal, fable of my father and I. We love to drink Gewürztraminer. It's quite unusual for the region, not very common, but it's a very different style. You also get that minerality from the slate, and it's not so perfumed. It's a little bit more reserved when it comes to the flavor of Gewürztraminer. Beside that, the Spätburgunder Pinot Noir is playing a bigger role now, domestically but also internationally. Riesling, but Riesling will always be our main variety. That's our signature grape in our area. Yes.
This is. And do you have made any changes recently at the vinification? You think? No. This
it's
really
is
the same.
It's not the same as 100 years ago.
For sure,
yes. So we have, back then you didn't have the means of cooling down barrels or tanks. What we can do individually cool down to regulate the fermentation and also to stop the fermentation. That was, of course, not possible 100 years ago. For sure that has changed, but beside that, there is not much change in the cellar itself. Like I said, we still ferment in the Fuda barrel, which is a barrel itself was actually invented by the Celtics peoples. The Romans, they used amphoras, and the Celts had the barrels. And that is so that's not too much change. The change is more outside in the vineyard. That's where more change is actually happening.
So you have it. And then just get almost finish here. You have some special parcels, as you said. This is I'm not sure. Schmidt,
yes.
Schmidt. Which word? Unrecht. And then
Rotlein.
And then
Böhmer. Yes. So I explained the Böhmer already. So Böhmer is a dry style. It's on like Großgewächs level in terms of ripeness. So I would say our top dry Riesling from the Schlossberg. A Schmidt is also a really good parcel, but Unrecht, Schmidt, and Rotlein are they're at least Auslese level of ripeness, but the philosophy is a little bit different. So those are also the best parcel in each vineyard side. They are off-dry, so it's like a sweeter Auslese style, but What we do differently from, for instance, with the Auslese 2-star is that we don't do any selection whatsoever. So we try to harvest all at once, all grapes into one bin. So botrytis, healthy grapes in cooler vintages, even some greener shaded berries, to get a snapshot of that specific parcel, like a blueprint.
Wow.
So the wines are very complex. They are not, how should I say, maybe not too one-sided. Really wines that are very enjoyable. And we are the only ones making that from those parcels in that like Auslese style. So it's also in that case a hands-off approach. Maybe a lot of people might not know is that Riesling as a variety is something that is perfect for aging. Starting, for instance, with the first wine, you can drink this another 5 years, no problem. Could even longer. And then for the second wine, 10 years, no problem. And now you're getting here into 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, and here's 50, 60 years, 70 years, no problem. So over time, the flavor profile is changing. You get more tertiary aromas. Riesling, often you get some, with botrytis, you get some green tea notes or like black tea notes. But overall, you get even some mint flavor, green mint, peppermint with some age. That is often you can find that with Mosel Riesling. The sweetness, acidity is more integrated. They become very food friendly with age. And yes, that's something many people don't know. They think, okay, it's white wine can't age that well, which is not the case. So we have low pH levels, good acidity. Then when you have some residual sugar, like the Auslese 2-star, sugar is also a natural preservative. But talking about food, very versatile as well. So you can do a whole menu just with Riesling. For instance, with the first two wines, or actually also with the Böhmer 21, perfect with seafood, like sushi. I know I've heard that you have a big Japanese community in Sao Paulo, or from Japanese descent.
We have a lot of Japanese restaurants here.
Yes, perfect. The first three wines are perfect with seafood. And then the one before, the MCM, the Zeddinger Sonnenuhr, perfect with like pâtés, duck, venison, lamb, everything that has a little bit more depth, more spice, because it's a very complex wine. You have a little bit of residual sugar, you have some umami character, you have some citrus notes, some stone fruit, some peach, which is very typical for the Sonnenuhr side. Then going to the Auslese 2-star. People say, okay, that is a dessert wine. Yes, you can have it for dessert, but I would prefer to pair this with some blue cheese, for instance, like a Gorgonzola, like a Stilton, or like a mature Camembert, Old Gouda, for instance, with the salt crystals. Foie gras goes really well with it, or like spicy Asian cuisine, like Szechuan style Chinese food. Maybe you can tell me what Brazilian dish goes well with those wines, especially the last two wines.
I shouldn't. Brazilian dishes. We have some that can match, because we have a lot of different cultures to match in the culinary. We can match with many things, I think. I was just thinking about, as you said already, but looking at a little bit of the future, how do you see the evolution of the German Riesling, and also of your winery? I don't know, maybe 20 years from now.
It's a good question. I can't look into the glass.
It's a big picture. Yeah.
Well, we see that there is a trend globally for, like I said, lower alcohol levels,
Yeah.
and also for more white wine consumption. That we can see in Germany, China, for instance, they were really heavy on red wines. With the young generation, there has been a shift in more white wine consumption. So that we can see that really benefits our area because we are famous for Riesling. And it's one thing. Beside that, I think we have to go with global warming. We have to adapt to it. You can't say, okay, my father, my grandfather, he did it that way, and I just stick to that. I mean, tradition is good, and we try to preserve the tradition, but that doesn't mean that you can neglect any change that is happening, for sure. But I'm really optimistic that hopefully we will have viticulture in the next 2,000 years from now in the area. Yes, so we will see what the future brings.
Thanks a lot, Sebastian. Thanks for your time. Hope to see you later at the tasting.
Yes, thank you for yes.
Esse programa é um oferecimento Adega Online, o marketplace oficial da revista Adega.